Hey boys and girls, we are going to read another terrific nonfiction article today. This is from National Geographic, which is available in Mac and Via if you want to read more articles like this. This particular article is titled Hound Heroes, and since, as always, it is nonfiction, we will begin by previewing it. So the title is Hound Heroes, and it says, discover how these dogs are keeping South Africa's rhinos safe. So it sounds like maybe this is a problem and a solution type of article where they had a problem and they had a solution. That's what I'm thinking just based on that. The subtitles are Going to the Dogs, Ticket to Texas. Oh, there's a Texas connection. Early success and more hounds equals safer rhinos. So it seems like they had a problem. I'm thinking based on this map here that the problem might be in South Africa. Okay. And they do something in Texas, and then they have success and go on to use more hounds to get safer rhinos. Let's see what our pictures have. This top picture does not have any caption, but I see dogs. And then we have numbered pictures. This one has a training exercise where a trainer releases hound dogs in South Africa's Kruger National Park. The second one looks like a sequence. While the hounds trace a pretend poacher, their trainers track their location through GPS collars the dog wears. That's awesome. And then 3 up here, the hounds trap a poacher in a tree. If this were a real poacher, the hounds would keep him trapped until law enforcement arrived. So I've got a prediction in mind. I wonder if you have a prediction too. All right. So I'm going to start by reading the introduction. We know that an introduction, which is something before we ever even have the first subtitle, probably gives us some idea about what the article is about and also catches our interest. A pack of black and tan hound dogs surround a tree in South Africa's Kruger National Park. The dogs are jumping at the base of the tree, barking at something in the branches above. They've trapped a rhinoceros poacher. South Africa is home to about 80% of the world's last remaining rhinos. But some 8,000 rhinos have been poached or illegally hunted in South Africa since 2008. That's because the demand for rhino horns has gone up. They've mostly smuggled into Asia to be used in medicine, even though they have no medicinal value. More than half of these rhinos were killed in Kruger and surrounding areas. To help protect the species, officials came up with a clever idea that was perfect for sniffing out bad guys: Texas hound dogs. Okay, so what we have here are three different paragraphs. This first paragraph is a story. Okay? It is the introduction, the lead. Okay? This clearly does not happen before this. Okay? So when they do this, this is to catch your interest. Okay? They're catching your interest with a story about how these hound heroes work, and then they're going back. This first paragraph, what do you think that is? It's the problem. Okay? Oh, that is not what was supposed to happen. Here. It is the problem. Okay? It is identifying for you what the problem is. This last little paragraph is actually introducing the solution. So, like in many nonfiction articles, we have started out with pretty much the whole main idea. Okay? We've been introduced with a little story to catch our interest. Then they've told us the problem and they've told us the solution. Okay? When this happens, what they often do is go back and tell you step by step how that happens. Let's see if that is indeed what they do. Going to the dogs. Back in 2013, rhino poaching in South African parks was on the rise. So the agency that oversees Kruger paired local dogs with rangers to track the poachers. But the human dog pairs weren't able to keep up with the fleeing poachers. Building a tracking dog team is a huge job, says Teresa Sowery, who runs the South African Wildlife College, a wildlife management and training facility near Kruger. You need the right genetics and the right training to bring it together. These dogs don't have all that, so they didn't catch many poachers. Do you see what happens here? So right here, they're telling you about the problem again and when it was. Okay, poaching was on the rise. Okay, people are killing those rhinos. And so here they tried a solution. Here's what they tried, right? They paired local dogs with rangers. And then there's that but. It didn't work. Okay, this is the opposite idea. It didn't work. And this tells you why it didn't work. So now they must go to Texas for the next solution. Let's see what it says. Ticket to Texas. Then in early 2017, Sowery heard about a group of dogs, black and tan hounds, used by Texas law enforcement officers to track down escaping prison inmates. So she headed to Refugio, Texas to see them. Oh, that's by Austin. At the ranch of law enforcement official Joe Brahman, Sowery and her team watched 10 of Brahman's dogs trail a pretend prisoner in the brush. The excited hounds would split up and compete, howling to be the first to pick up the scent. They would then work together as a team to follow the scents where deputies trailed behind. Once they caught up with the humans, the hounds surrounded them, barking as the escapee climbed up the nearest tree. We had no idea if these dogs would catch poachers in Africa, which has a different landscape and different animals from Texas, said Ivan Carter, whose Conservation Foundation introduced Brahman to Sowery. But they wanted to try. Along with the dog trainer Zeke Ortiz, Brahman spent the next several months training his hounds to improve their scent tracking skills and barking abilities, so they're loudly able to alert their human helpers to where they are at any time. Then 20 of the best hounds were off to South Africa. Let's pause here to think about what this section was mostly about. So then now we're going to move on to the next section, early success. Brahman had only just arrived at the South African Wildlife College when the first call came from the savannah. Poachers had killed a rhino and they were on the run. The Texas dogs were rushed into 2 helicopters. They couldn't fit in just one, which get the hounds to the site fast. The noisy copters also scare off dangerous predators. Brahman admits to being a little nervous about what the dogs might encounter. They had never seen an elephant before, never seen a lion, never been in a helicopter. On the ground, 10 excited hounds immediately picked up the scent trail. Fitted with GPS collars, they bolted across the savannah, past herds of wildebeest, darting through bushes and over countless 8-foot-tall termite mounds. After they'd covered about 10 miles, Brahman got a call from one of the helicopters trailing the dogs from the air. The pack had just caught up with the 4 poachers. With information from the hounds' GPS collars, Brahman was easily able to find the dogs. When we arrived, they had one guy cornered against a tree, he says, and we took all the poachers into custody. No one could believe it. The next day, the team caught 3 more poachers. The day after that, another 2. To have the hounds catch poachers from the start was proof we were doing something right, Carter says. Think about what that section was mostly about. All right, the last section. More hounds equals safer rhinos. Before the Texas hounds arrived, rangers were nabbing only about 5% of known poachers. But with the new dogs on the prowl, more than half of those bad guys are now being caught. Soon, the hounds in South Africa started having puppies of their own. According to Carter, these dogs may one day be sent to other areas of Africa that need hounds to catch wildlife poachers. Thanks to the hounds' protection, rhinos and other animals are getting a chance to roam free. Awesome. So this last part is the conclusion, right? This part tells you how it worked. Okay? How does it work? How's it come out, right? This was a problem and solution article, and you want to know if their solution worked. That tells it to you, okay? This next one gives you a hint about how it may work out in the future, okay? This very last sentence is just a conclusion. It just tells you, oh, yay, it wraps it up. But this part right here is glimpsing into the future. According to Carter, these dogs may one day be sent to other areas of Africa, right? So it's a glimpse into the future before our conclusion does what good conclusions do, just wrap up the idea you have. Thanks to the hound's protections, the rhinos and other animals are getting a chance. It's wrapping up the solution with some enthusiasm. That's what a conclusion does in nonfiction. Okay, great thinking